Well, after what was an eventful penultimate episode of Outlander, and one which showed us that the fate of Clare Fraser was up in the air following her staring the Grim Reaper in the face, the finale of Season 7 of Outlander is now upon us. After a season that spanned a year and a half, including the mid-season break, Season 7 is almost about to come to an end and lead us into the final season of the show, Season 8. With a trailer being played at the end of the most recent episode, I thought I'd break it down and give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Outlander Season 7, Episode 16, the finale trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The trailer for the finale opened up with a somber piece of music, and one which almost threw us into a state of reflection. Usually, the trailer starts with pieces of music that build tension during the 30 seconds and then conclude with a crescendo. But this one didn't do that at all. This one kept us on the same level throughout the entirety of the preview, probably because of the tone of the finale and the fact that Jamie was praying for Clare's recovery, and also because it was a finale that looked to resolve a lot of the issues that many of the characters were facing on a personal level, rather than the political ones, with characters being on both sides of the war. The trailer started with Jamie saying the line to Clare, "Blood of my blood, we didn't have much time." And Jamie sat there comforting Clare whilst she was still in recovery. So it seems like, following on from the closing moments of episode 15, Denzel was able to retrieve the bullet from her and keep her alive, something that it didn't seem like would be possible during the ending. Jamie was in there on his own, and it didn't seem like he was going anywhere, showing that her safety was going to be the main focus of the season finale. She is the love of his life, and even though there were men that were underneath him that he was plagued with worry about before the beginning of the Battle of Monmouth, these men were now afterthoughts for him. Clare was all that mattered. The fact that he said, "We didn't have much time," it kind of insinuated that she could be on death's door and the angels were coming for her. But I feel like it would be pretty obvious if she were to be killed off here. So I think she will in fact survive, and the show is just leading us down a pathway of thinking that she's gonna die. The next shot that we had in the trailer was of Jamie standing in a graveyard by the church, and Ian was riding towards him on a horse. Again, Jamie being in a graveyard makes it seem like he could be there because Clare has died, but I'm just simply not buying it. Maybe he could be in a graveyard because he could be visiting the graves of the soldiers that he fought alongside that died in the Battle of Monmouth. Even though the Continental Army won, when it came to the Battle of Monmouth, they did still suffer large casualties. There were around 500, and Jamie had 300 men that were underneath him, so there could well be some people that he fought alongside that ended up losing their life. Ian asked the question to Jamie, "You're not going back to the army?" To which Jamie responded with, "No." And Ian said, "Will they accept that?" And Jamie then closed the conversation by saying, "Well, they'll have to." In the most recent episode, we saw him hand in his resignation by writing in the blood of Clare on a soldier's back, even though it meant that he would have been treated as a deserter. I feel he's going to step away from the army because all the time that Clare is sick, he's going to want to be by her side. So nothing is going to change there with Jamie. The next part of the trailer then saw us at the British camp as it looked like they were packing up and getting ready to leave. This is following the Battle of Monmouth being a failure for them, and Washington and his army causing Sir Henry Clinton and his men to get out of Philadelphia. We saw William with his father, Lord John Grey, and he asked him for help. This is a moment that is quite significant. This is because William had felt betrayed by both Lord John and Jamie throughout this season, following him finding out that Lord John lied about knowing that Jamie was his real father. So with William going to him for help, it truly marks the beginning of the repairing of the damaged relationship. As William asked for help, he said the line, "It's life and death." And accompanying that line, we saw Jamie stood looking out of a window up at a night sky. We know that William has taken a liking to Jamie in this season of the show, and it's something that's given him a sense of grounding amongst the loss of knowing his identity and the confusion that he's plagued with. So with Jane looking to be sent to the gallows for the murdering of Captain Harkness, I think we'll see William look to use the power that Lord John Grey's name has, and in turn, his name has, in order to save her. The next line in the trailer was spoken by Lord John to William, and he said, "Do you love the woman, William?" We've never seen him admit that he loves Jane, but by the way that he's been acting, he's behaving as if he does. I also think that he does, and once she's been rescued, the two of them will become what he once wanted for himself and Rachel. The next part of the trailer then saw Roger alongside Buck, and he looked shocked at what he was looking at. I think in this instance, he's going to be seeing Amanda, Bree, and Jem wandering the land. We know that the three of them went through the stones at the end of the most recent episode, and Amanda did go off on her own. But I don't think harm will come her way. As long as all of them were thinking about Roger when they travelled through, then they'll arrive in 1739. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen to them all. Following this, there was then a shot of Ian looking as though he was distraught over something. I'm going to imagine that it could be the fact that Clare is in the state that she's in. It looked as though it occurred whilst it was daybreak, so maybe he could be accompanying her by her bed alongside Jamie, and he's upset over what's happening to her. As well as that, there was a shot of Jamie doing the sign of the cross and looking as though he was concluding a prayer. I think this inclusion is just stressing the importance and the focus that it seems like Claire's story is going to be getting in the season finale, and the whole will she or won't she survive element. After this, there was then a shot of William walking with Jane's sister outside of the very church that Jamie was standing at before. I'm imagining this is because William is going to be going to Jamie and looking for him to help with the rescuing of Jane. Following this, there was then a shot of Bree smiling at somebody. Judging by her clothing and the candle chandelier, she's definitely made it back to the 1700s, and she'll most likely be reunited with Roger. Something that we've not seen in this season at all, so it's a moment that I'm looking forward to. As the trailer drew to a close, it looked like we were going to be seeing William working alongside his biological father, Jamie, in order to rescue Jane. This is because both of them were dressed like bandits and concealing their identity as they were seen to be breaking into a property and taking the keys off of a British soldier. Even though their faces were covered up, it seemed clear to me that this is both Jamie and William. It looks like William is going to be betraying his own men for his pursuit of love. This will also bring him closer to Jamie, and it will allow the season to be concluded in a way which sees William content with both of his fathers. The last thing that we saw in the trailer was Clare laying there on the bed looking like she was asleep, and Jamie watching over her and saying the line, "I'm sorry, Cessnack." This was extremely powerful because all of the music cut completely, and there wasn't any noise in the background at all, allowing us to have full focus on the words that were coming from Jamie's mouth. As well as that, the room was in complete darkness, and Jamie and Clare were the only subjects that were lit. So there was even more of a focus on the both of them too, stressing how important they're going to be in the finale. Do I think Clare is going to die? Personally, I don't think so, and I also hope that she doesn't either. This final episode is going to be one that's full of emotion, and one which will see the repairing of relationships across the board. It seems like there might actually be a bit of a break until the finale too. Online, it's saying that the final episode is going to be released on the 17th of January, which isn't this Friday, but the following one. However, there was no word of that in the trailer, so I suppose we'll have to keep our eyes out on Friday to see whether or not it's going to be released. So, there you have it. Outlander Season 7, Episode 16, the finale trailer explained. If you want to see more videos on Outlander Season 7, then click on the card in the top corner. There's a playlist there, or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find more of your favourite TV series and movies being broken down. How do you think Season 7 will end? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.